Okay, I'm here with Phil Elliott, and we're going to be talking about the Collective, which is Square Enix's indie-focused project. Tell us about it. Tell us about it, rather than me garble what it is.
Yeah, and to be fair though, I mean, you're not the only one that kind of maybe struggles to explain it. I think that's for a couple of reasons. First of all, we sort of changed over the years. So we started out as being a platform to try and help indie developers build a community, so that they could then take that community and go to, say, Kickstarter or crowdfunding in general, and it gives them a head start, because we knew that going in cold to crowdfunding, really bad idea. Then we started to do some due diligence on teams and then help them through crowdfunding as well. So we'd kind of act as a marketing partner, but also try to build trust between backers and the developers, just to make people comfortable that this wasn't a scam, that they were going to be able to make the game they said they were going to be making. And then as time's gone on, some of those teams have actually got to, sort of getting close to release. And so the natural progression is then for us to offer publishing service as well. Along the way, we're also have made some production investments into teams as well. So we've sort of become, I suppose, an indie publishing label in some ways, or a service provider. I suppose either kind of description works.
Bit of both, maybe.
Yeah, an indie publishing services provider.
So tell us about the games that you've signed, adopted, fostered.
Yeah, well, I mean, in general, we're looking to probably publish around 10 games per year. And we're sort of still quite at the start of that progress. So we've got 5 games here. That's the first 5 that we've announced. The first of those is a game called Goetia, and that's actually out next week on April 14th. And that's a point-and-click adventure, which was one of the games that we supported on its Kickstarter about 12 months ago. Then we've got other games here. So we've got Turing Test, which is, we're publishing it on Steam. Microsoft are going to publish that directly on Xbox One. That's a sort of first-person puzzle game, a little bit sort of reminiscent of Portal meets maybe a game kind of a bit like Aliens. That's a really cool game. We've got Tokyo Dark, is another one that we helped through Kickstarter. That's a kind of a point-and-click, very Japanese cultural type game. Was very popular with the Square Enix community, interestingly. Black the Fall is more of a side-scrolling kind of action RPG, and that's from a really cool team, a very talented team from Romania. And then just at the end, we've got a multiplayer game called Oh My Godheads, which is, I suppose, a couch co-op / competitive game. Maybe sort of reminds you of maybe something like Gang Beasts or something like that, where you kind of, it's capture the head as opposed to flag. But that's quite a lot of fun. So a lot of variety. We're not looking specifically for particular genres. The main thing is, if we see a team that we think has talent, and we want to try and help them to get the game to gamers, to get as many sales really as possible. And the idea is that we can help them to make enough money to fund the next game. That's what we really want to try and help people do, to get them up on the first rung of the ladder.
So the studios come to you, or do you approach studios when you see something that kind of catches your eye? How does it work?
It's a variation, really. I mean, we've got the Collective web platform, which we still use, so we publish a new pitch every week, and we still drive traffic to those pitches, and we're still trying to help teams build community. I guess kind of siphon off a bit of the Square Enix community for themselves, which we're totally fine with. So sometimes we'll see something there. Again, if we're going to support a Kickstarter, then we'll probably always offer to do some publishing for them afterwards. Other teams, I'll meet them at events like Rezzed or developer conferences like GDC or something like that, where people are there specifically to find publishers or investors. Other times it'll just be recommendations from people that we know. So I'll take a look at a build, and yeah, if the game is good and the timing's right, and they're interested in the deal structure we've got, then maybe we can work together.
That must be a fun job, kind of talent scouting cool indie games.
I would be lying if I said it was probably anything other than the best job I could think of. And it's weird because, I joined Square Enix as head of community, and I then sort of had this opportunity to kind of put a few ideas together and build up what's become Collective. So I'm not really sure how I got here. I'm just really, really lucky, I guess.
Okay, probably not that lucky. So you've got 10 games, a target of turning over the 10 games a year?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think that's going to be a maximum, whether it's maybe 7, 8, whatever. The reason for that is, we're looking at what capacity we've got. We want to make sure that we can do the best for every single game. We know that there are some months of the year which are going to be much harder, so October, November, December, obviously, there's a lot of AAA games, and then kind of a dead zone around Christmas. But we've got all the existing processes in place with digital sales, with QA, that we do for our main games. So actually plugging in a game through Collective, it can benefit from all that sort of expertise and experience, and we can sort of take advantage of that scale. We're not having to create it for every single game; it's just kind of there. And if we're not already bringing through a new Hitman or a new Tomb Raider or whatever, then it's sort of lying dormant in a way. So the cost to us isn't huge to kind of bring these games through, and that means we can actually pass on a lot of that sort of saving to the developers, and so we can really try and make sure that the deals that we're putting together are genuinely beneficial. We're not taking IP, we're not they will always keep creative control. They'll always take the majority net revenue share, even if we're investing into production. Have we got it right? I think time will tell. We have built a platform that's always been based on feedback. We've never been afraid to change it. The one thing I think that is sacrosanct as far as I'm concerned is the core philosophy, which is basically making sure that what we're doing has to be good for the developer. This isn't about Square Enix trying to kind of harvest IP or harvest indie souls, or this isn't a game. This isn't a platform that we expect is going to fund the next Final Fantasy game. Anything that we make over and above, covering costs, we'll be able to plow back into Collective. What we're trying to do with this is build relationships. We're trying to find new talent to work with in the future. The guys that have made Goetia, we've just licensed them the Fear Effect IP, and they're going to go to Kickstarter next week, next Tuesday, to raise money to build a new Fear Effect game. We're not using that as an excuse because we can't be bothered. We have no plans to build a new Fear Effect game, but we've got IP there that's not doing anything. So if we can open that up to teams, and if they can then benefit from that, that's great. But everything's experimental. We never quite know if the Kickstarter support was going to work. Would developers want it? Would the community accept it? So we've been very careful and very sensitive to trying to do things the right way. But if something doesn't work, then we'll change it. And if it doesn't work still, then maybe we'll stop it. So we'll see. I think we've got some good momentum now. We're looking forward to seeing how the sales of the games go. But we're always open to feedback, always looking to sort of hear opinions of developers and the community and see what we can do better.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time, and good luck with the next round of launches.
Cheers, thanks very much.